First contact. In the vast expanse of the Orion Arm, the Galactic Council reigned supreme. Comprised of the 12 most advanced species in the known universe, the Council saw themselves as the guardians of peace and order among the stars. For millennia, they had guided the development of younger races, shepherding them into the galactic fold. Humanity was barely a blip on their radar. Confined to their single blue world, humans were seen as a primitive, fragmented species, their technology laughably crude compared to the wonders of the Council races. The Council had long ago placed monitoring outposts in the Sol system to keep an eye on humanity's slow progress, content to let them develop at their own pace until they were ready to join the galactic community as a protectorate race. All that changed when a human exploration vessel, the UES Magellan, accidentally stumbled upon one of these hidden outposts in the Kuiper Belt. The Council observers were shocked when their sensors detected the Earth ship decelerating from superluminal speeds. The humans should not have possessed faster-than-light technology for another century at least based on Council projections. Even more astonishing was the fact the Magellan had approached the outpost without tripping any of the perimeter alarms. The humans had somehow developed stealth technology, advanced enough to fool Council sensors. As the Council ships hastily moved to intercept the intruder, one thing became clear: they had drastically underestimated humanity's capabilities. Captain Kenji Sato of the Magellan was equally surprised to find an alien base hidden among the icy planetoids at the edge of the solar system. When the 3 angular ships suddenly decloaked and moved to surround his vessel, he knew the jig was up. "This is Captain Kenji Sato of the UES Magellan, representing the United Earth Federation. We come in peace," he transmitted on all frequencies. "I apologize for the intrusion. We were not aware this area of space was inhabited." There was a tense pause before a melodic voice replied in perfect English. "This is Supreme Counselor Zelania of the Galactic Council. Your presence here is unexpected, Captain Sato. You have violated Council's sovereign territory. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded for inspection." Kenji frowned. He did not like the imperious tone of this Supreme Counselor. "With all due respect, Counselor, the Magellan is an exploration vessel on a peaceful survey mission beyond the boundaries of our solar system. We have violated no Earth laws and do not recognize your authority here. I must decline your request." There was an even longer pause. Kenji could imagine the consternation their defiance was causing. "Let them stew," he thought. "We bow to no one. The Council will overlook this transgression as a misunderstanding rather than a deliberate act of aggression," Zelania finally replied, her voice now frosty. "But be warned, this region of space is under our protection. Any further encroachment will be considered an act of war. I strongly suggest you return to your homeworld and inform your leaders that the Council will be contacting them soon to discuss your status in the galactic community. Trust that we have your best interests in mind." "Your concern is appreciated," Kenji said dryly. "We will take your message under advisement." Magellan out. As the human ship turned and accelerated away in a burst of blue-shifted Cherenkov radiation, Zelania watched it go with a mixture of annoyance and grudging respect. The humans were brasher than she had expected. This first contact had not gone how the Council had imagined humanity's introduction to the broader universe would unfold. Change was coming to the galaxy, whether the Council was ready for it or not. The humans were about to shake the established order to its foundations. The Council's challenge. News of the encounter with the human ship spread like wildfire through the Council. The chamber erupted into frenzied debate as the delegates struggled to make sense of this unexpected turn of events. Humans, developing stealth, and FTL centuries ahead of schedule. Scoffed Torvax, the burly Taurian representative. His species' knack for engineering was legendary. "Impossible. The primitives can barely escape their own gravity well." "You underestimate them," chided Lirana, the willowy self-emissary. "I have long sensed a great potential in humanity. Their minds are dynamic, adaptable, ever hungry for new knowledge. We must tread carefully." Zelania called for order. "Whether we like it or not, The humans have advanced further than our projections. This alone is cause for concern. Their refusal to bow to our authority is even more troubling. They clearly do not understand our role as guardians of the younger races. Then we must enlighten them, rumbled Corzin, the reptilian Vakshi liaison. His scales rippled orange with agitation. Show them their proper place in the hierarchy. Zelania nodded. Agreed. We cannot allow humanity to develop unsupervised, lest they become a threat to the peace and stability we have achieved. We will contact their leaders and lay out the path forward. Humanity will join the Council as a protectorate race, under our guidance for their own good. On Earth, the message from the Galactic Council was met with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The revelation that humanity was not alone in the universe electrified the planet, but the Council's imperious demands were not so well received. The Secretary-General of the United Earth Federation addressed the people of Earth. The Galactic Council claims dominion over us, as if we were wayward children in need of correction. They command us to halt our exploration, to submit to their authority, to stunt your development, and join their ranks as a subject species. I say we will do no such thing. Humanity's destiny lies in the stars, and we will not be constrained by the whims of a distant council, no matter how powerful they claim to be. We stand on the precipice of a new era, an age of discovery, of unlimited potential. We will not trade our sovereignty for a gilded cage. To the Galactic Council, I say this. We come in peace, and we welcome peaceful relations, but we will not be subjugated. Humanity will forge its own path among the stars, as equals. We are prepared to stand against any who would deny us that right. The speech was met with a chorus of cheers from the people of Earth. Humanity stood united and defiant against the Council's demands. The battle lines were drawn. In the following weeks, tensions rose as human ships continued to venture beyond the solar system, disregarding the Council's warnings. Minor skirmishes broke out as Council ships tried to turn the human vessels back. No losses were incurred on either side, but with each encounter, the hostility grew. The powder keg was primed. All that would take was a single spark to set the galaxy ablaze. That spark came from an unexpected source: the warlike Vakshi and their sudden campaign of conquest. The Vakshi incursion. On the far side of the Orion Arm, trouble was brewing. The Vakshi, ever aggressive and expansionist, had grown restless with the centuries of peace under the Council's rule. In their hearts, they longed for the glory of conquest, to carve out a dominion to rival the ancient Vakshi star empire of old. Emperor Zorgax, a cunning and charismatic leader, had spent decades stoking the embers of Vakshi nationalism. In fiery speeches, he spoke of the Vakshi's warrior spirit, their manifest destiny to rule the stars. The Council, he claimed, had grown weak and decadent, no longer willing to do what was necessary to maintain order. It was time for the Vakshi to seize their birthright. In a lightning strike, Vakshi warships attacked a dozen Council outposts along the frontier, overwhelming them before they could call for aid. Zorgax declared the formation of the new Vakshi Dominion, claiming a swath of resource-rich systems as his own. The Council races, caught off guard by the sudden offensive, scrambled to respond. The Vakshi were a formidable military power, their ships heavily armed and armored. The Council had grown complacent in the long years of peace and found themselves hard-pressed to contain the Vakshi advance. Desperate for assistance, the Council turned to an unlikely source: the humans they had so recently tried to put in their place. Swallowing their pride, Zelania reached out to Earth. Secretary-General, in light of recent events, the Council has reevaluated our stance regarding humanity. We recognize now that we may have been hasty in our judgment. The Vakshi threat endangers us all. In this time of crisis, we ask that you put aside our differences and stand with us against this aggression. The Secretary-General, seeing an opportunity, agreed to aid on one condition: that humanity be treated as a full and equal member of the galactic community. After much debate, the Council reluctantly agreed. The human space fleet was dispatched to the front lines. When the Vakshi first encountered the human ships, they scoffed at their small size and seemingly primitive design compared to the sleek council vessels. The Vakshi commander, Admiral Zarthox, dismissed them as irrelevant. "Focus fire on the council ships," he ordered with a sneer. "The primates can wait their turn to burn." This would prove to be a fatal mistake. The Vakshi were about to learn the folly of underestimating human ingenuity and tenacity in battle. As the Vakshi fleet engaged the council forces, the human ships made their move. Human ingenuity. The UES Valkyrie hung at the rear of the formation, a small, unassuming frigate dwarfed by the massive council battleships and Vakshi dreadnoughts slugging it out ahead. Captain Selena Ramirez watched the light show of plasma beams and flaring shields with a grim smile. "They're really going at it," she remarked to her XO, Commander Kevin Adebayo. "Almost feel sorry for the lizards. They have no idea what's about to hit them." Kevin nodded, his eyes alight with anticipation. Time to show the galaxy what human innovation can do. All hands, ready Shiva deployment. Target their flagship. Named after the Hindu god of destruction, Project Shiva was humanity's trump card, a top-secret weapon developed in the Kuiper Belt labs after the tense first contact with the Council. It was the product of human desperation and genius. A miniaturized FTL-enabled antimatter warhead. As the Valkyrie powered up its FTL drive, dozens of small pods were ejected from its hull. Each pod contained a single Shiva warhead, their miniaturized drives slaved to the Valkyrie's nav computer. In a blinding flash, the Valkyrie jumped, translocating deep into the heart of the Vakshi formation. The pods followed a microsecond later, their automated guidance systems homing in on the critical weak points of the Vakshi dreadnoughts. The seams between their segmented hull plates, the exposed power conduits, the shield projector nodes. The Vakshi never saw them coming. One moment the Valkyrie was a distant speck behind the battle line. The next it was in their midst, so close that Admiral Zarthox could see the fierce grin on Captain Ramirez's face on his view screen. Then the pods arrived, and there was no more time for shock or confusion. Antimatter met matter in a cataclysmic reunion at a dozen different points across the Vakshi fleet. The dreadnoughts came apart like burst fruits, consumed from within by blossoms of pure energy. The flagship was the first to go, vanishing in an actinic glare that momentarily outshone the system's sun. In the space of a few brutal seconds, the spine of the Vakshi offensive had been shattered. The surviving ships reeled in disarray, their crews stunned by the sudden and utter destruction visited upon them. The Council forces, though equally surprised by the human attack, wasted no time in pressing their advantage. Plasma beams and torpedoes slammed into the faltering Vakshi ships, adding to the destruction. Across the fleet, human vessels were employing similarly unconventional tactics. The UES Susanoo, named for the Shinto storm god, was using its advanced weather control systems to ionize the hulls of Vakshi ships, making them lightning rods for the electromagnetic pulse weapons of its compatriots. The UES Loki, in a nod to the trickster god, projected false sensor readings and decoy ships to sow chaos and confusion among the enemy. The most devastating blow came from the UES Athena, the fleet's flagship. Deploying swarms of AI-controlled attack drones, each no larger than a breadbox, but armed with FTL-enabled linear accelerator cannons, the Athena tore through the Vakshi battle line like a scythe through wheat. The drones, operating with inhuman precision and coordination, surgically disassembled the enemy ships, targeting vital systems with impunity. The Valkyrie, having recharged its FTL drive, jumped again and again, each time spewing more Shiva pods into the heart of the enemy. The Vakshi tried desperately to evade, but the pod's eye guidance was relentless. Dreadnought after dreadnought succumbed to the merciless onslaught. In a matter of hours, the once proud Vakshi armada had been reduced to smoldering husks and venting debris. Fewer than a quarter of their ships remained operable, and those were in full retreat, harried by the vengeful Council forces. The humans had sent a clear message: underestimate us at your peril. The galaxy had witnessed the power of human ingenuity and resolve unleashed. The Vakshi, and indeed the council races, would not soon forget this display. But the war was far from over. The Vakshi, though bloodied, were not broken. They would regroup, rearm, and return with a vengeance. The real fight was just beginning. Turning the tide. In the aftermath of the stunning human victory, the council races found themselves reevaluating their opinions of the upstart species. The humans had accomplished in a single battle what the council had failed to do in weeks of fighting, decisively breaking the Vakshi offensive. Grudging respect began to replace patronizing dismissal. Perhaps there was more to these humans than met the eye. The council, recognizing the need for a change in strategy, began to actively collaborate with the human fleet, integrating them into their battle plans. For their part, the humans were riding high on their success, but knew better than to get complacent. The Vakshi had been caught off guard once. They would not make the same mistake twice. The war was entering a new phase, one of grinding attrition and desperate innovation on both sides. Months ground by in a series of running battles across the contested systems. The Vakshi, having learned to fear the humans' unconventional weapons and tactics, adapted their own in response. They developed countermeasures for the Shiva pods, point defense systems to shoot down the attack drones, and jamming tech to foil the sensor tricks. But the humans, ever inventive, continued to roll out new surprises. The UES Hephaestus, a converted mining ship, used its industrial-scale magnetic accelerators to launch hypersonic kinetic kill vehicles, telephone pole-sized tungsten spears that could punch clean through even the thickest dreadnought armor. The UES Hermes deployed swarms of FTL-capable recon drones, allowing human ships to hit and fade, always staying one step ahead of the Vakshi response. Slowly, painfully, the tide began to turn. The combined human council fleet clawed back the systems the Vakshi had seized, liberating worlds that had chafed under the invaders' harsh rule. But for every victory, there was a cost. Human and council ships alike were battered and broken, their crews pushed to the brink of exhaustion. The Vakshi, even in retreat, fought with the viciousness of cornered predators. Every system, every planet had to be pried from their claws at a steep price in blood and steel. But the Allied fleet pressed on, driven by the resolve that this war must be won, no matter the cost. The breaking point came at the Battle of Tannhauser Gate, on the edge of what had once been Vakshi space. The system was a major shipyard for the Vakshi war machine. If it could be taken, the Vakshi ability to replace their losses would be crippled. But the defenses were formidable. A massive network of weapons platforms, minefields, and fortified bases. The Allied fleet, marshalling for the assault, knew this would be the most difficult challenge they had faced yet. Success here could turn the tide of the war for good. Failure would give the Vakshi a chance to catch their breath and prolong the conflict indefinitely. As the fleet moved into position, Admiral Selena Ramirez, now commander of the entire Allied force, addressed her troops. "This is where we break the back of the Vakshi war machine," she said, her voice steely with resolve. "This is where we show them, once and for all, the folly of challenging the unity and determination of the free peoples of this galaxy. This is where we end this war. For Earth, for the Council, for every world that yearns to be free of Vakshi oppression, let us fight." A cheer went up from the assembled ships as they surged forward, weapons primed and ready. The Vakshi defenses lit up, energy beams and missiles lancing out to meet the oncoming fleet. Ships on both sides began to die, blooming into short-lived suns as their reactors went critical. But the Allies would not be denied. Human ships, their hulls bristling with newly invented weapons, led the charge. The UES Heirs, armed with an experimental phased plasma cannon, carved a path of destruction through the Vakshi battle stations, its beam leaving molten scars kilometers long. The UES Artemis and its sister ships, equipped with advanced cloaking devices, slipped past the defenses to wreak havoc among the shipyards, destroying dozens of half-built Vakshi dreadnoughts before they could even launch. Council ships followed in the humans' wake, their superior numbers telling now that the Vakshi defenses were crumbling. Vakshi ships, caught between the hammer of the human vanguard and the anvil of the Council bulk, were systematically isolated and destroyed. For hours the battle raged, the very fabric of space seeming to shake with the violence of the exchange. But slowly, inexorably, the tide turned. The Vakshi defenses, once thought impregnable, were falling, unable to withstand the relentless assault and the constant innovations of the human fleet. As the last Vakshi stronghold crumbled, the surviving ships attempted to flee, but found their paths blocked by the Allies. Seeing no escape, they surrendered en masse. The Battle of Tannhauser Gate was over. The shipyards, the keystone of the Vakshi war effort, were in Allied hands. It was the turning point everyone had hoped for. News of the victory spread like wildfire across the galaxy. On worlds formerly under Vakshi occupation, people took to the streets in jubilant celebration. The oppressors had been driven back. Freedom was within grasp. The Vakshi, their military might shattered and their morale broken by the string of defeats, sued for peace. Emperor Zorgax, his dreams of conquest in ruins, had no choice but to accept the Allies' terms. The war was over. The galaxy had been saved, and the humans had played no small part in its salvation. A new era. In the wake of the war, the galactic order had been irrevocably changed. The Council, having seen the bravery and ingenuity of humanity firsthand, could no longer justify keeping them at arm's length. In a historic ceremony, the human representative was invited to take a seat on the Council as a full and equal member. Humanity has shown themselves to be true friends and staunch defenders of galactic peace, Supreme Councilor Zelania declared. It is only right that they take their place among us as partners in shaping the future of our shared cosmos. The Secretary-General of Earth, humbled by the honor, spoke of a new era of cooperation and mutual respect among the stars. "Let this mark the beginning of a new chapter," she said, "one in which all species, regardless of their origins or their level of technological advancement, are treated as equals. Let us move forward together, united in our diversity, to face whatever challenges the universe may throw at us." Among the Council races, attitudes towards humanity shifted dramatically. Where once there had been condescension and distrust, now there was admiration and eagerness to learn. Human culture, once dismissed as primitive and crass, was now studied with fascination. Human technology, particularly their innovative weapons and AI, were the subject of intense interest and even awe. On Earth, the revelation of humanity's pivotal role in the war and their new status in the galactic community was met with a swell of pride. The sacrifices and ingenuity of human soldiers and scientists had not only saved humanity, but had also earned them the respect of the older, more advanced races. A new confidence suffused the planet, a sense that humanity was ready to take its rightful place on the galactic stage. But with this newfound status came new responsibilities. As a Council race, humanity would now be expected to help maintain the peace and stability of the galaxy, to use their unique strengths and perspective to solve problems that had long vexed the other races. It was a challenge that humanity embraced wholeheartedly. Human ships, now sporting the emblem of the Council alongside the flag of Earth, patrolled the space lanes, protecting trade routes and responding to distress calls. Human diplomats worked tirelessly to mediate disputes between rival species and foster understanding across cultural divides. Human scientists collaborated with their alien counterparts to push the boundaries of knowledge and technology ever further. In this new era of cooperation and progress, old animosities faded and new friendships were forged. The Vakshi, humbled by their defeat and impressed by humanity's magnanimity and victory, became one of Earth's strongest allies. Vakshi warriors, once the terror of the galaxy, now fought alongside human soldiers to defend the peace. Vakshi engineers, their skills honed by centuries of warfare, turned their talents to constructive ends, working with human inventors to devise new wonders. As the years turned to decades and the decades to centuries, the galaxy entered a new golden age, with humanity's drive and passion. Added to the wisdom and experience of the older races, there seemed to be no limit to what could be achieved. New worlds were explored and settled. New discoveries were made that revolutionized science and technology. New forms of art and culture blossomed that blended the best of each species' heritage. And at the center of it all was Earth, once a backwater world dismissed as primitive and irrelevant, now a shining beacon of hope and progress for the entire galaxy. Humanity had taken its place among the stars, and the universe would never be the same. From the heights of galactic power and prestige, humans could look back on their tumultuous ascent with a sense of pride and wonder. In the face of doubt and adversity, they had proven themselves. When challenged, they had risen to the occasion with courage and creativity. When faced with advanced alien civilizations, they had held their own and earned their respect. The lesson was clear: never underestimate humanity. Though they may seem primitive or outmatched, humans have a way of surprising you. Their ingenuity, their adaptability, their sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat. These are the qualities that had taken them from the caves to the stars, and that would propel them to even greater heights in the centuries to come. In a galaxy full of wonders and terrors, humanity had carved out a place for itself through grit, guile, and an indomitable spirit. And as they looked out across the endless expanse of space, full of untold challenges and opportunities, one thing was certain: the adventure was only beginning. The end